So what does it mean for Andy Reid, Philadelphia, coming back? Like, what does it mean for Andy Reid to get a win? What does it mean for Philadelphia to get a win? This is a lot to unpack here. I mean, I'm just looking at now, from '99 to 2012. He was our coach. He was Philadelphia Eagles coach, and he got to think within his second year, he took a 5-11 team to 11-5, lost to the Giants in the divisional game. So he went 5 straight years going to the playoffs, made to the NFC Championship game 3 times in a row after his second year, and then to 4 times in a row, and then to a Super Bowl. Had a 6-10 year, came back, went to a divisional game, lost to the Saints, had an 8-8 record, and then lost in to Cardinals in the NFC Championship game, then 2 wild card losses, and then after that, 8-8 season, the 4-12 season, they say, hey, Andy Reid, it's time to go. But in his time in Philadelphia, he was 130-93 with one tie, with pretty much a 58% win percentage, and then 10-9 in the playoffs. We love Andy Reid, and Philadelphia loved Andy Reid. We understood how that franchise parted ways with Andy Reid. It was just that time for us to say, hey, Andy Reid, hey, it's time to go, looking for something new. And I don't think we did Andy Reid necessarily wrong. We did give Andy Reid time. We gave him, 13 years. 13 years. He had 13 seasons with Philadelphia. But it sucks, right? He goes to Kansas City. They immediately start winning when they goes to Kansas City. Immediately start winning. He has not had a losing season at Kansas City. They had Alex Smith, and then they got Mahomes. You win a Super Bowl every year. They made the playoffs except 1 year, and since he's been a coach, and he's 117-45 there with a 72% win percentage and a 61% win percentage in the playoffs with 11-7. When you talk about greatest coaches of all time, you have to include Andy Reid's name in there. What he's done with 2 franchises, how he's developed players, how teams trust him. His coaching staff likes to stay around and be near him. How well he respects the organization, the fans, the people. It's no surprise Andy Reid is successful at what he does. And for me, I have so much respect for Andy Reid. And after we lost, not just because we lost Andy Reid and we went into the abysmal amount of years, but the fact that what he did for the franchise, what he did for the players, how he respected the players, all these things kind of come together. Now the question is, what is Andy Reid thinking? This is a franchise that he loved, that loves him. At the same time, I'm 110% sure Andy Reid wants this one. He wants to stick it to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't blame him either. I think that, we're going to get Kansas City's best punch. Now, for Philadelphia, what does this mean for us? What does it mean for Philadelphia? I think it means a lot. I think Philadelphia wants to beat Andy Reid. I think Nick Sirianni wants to stick it to Andy Reid. Even though he respects him, he wants to stick it to him. He wants to stick it. He wants to stick it to Doug Peterson. He wants to stick it to. He wants to stick it to. He wants Jeffrey Lurie to know, hey, look, Nick Sirianni, he can do the job. There's some players that played for Andy Reid that are if I look at the roster in 2012, and we see that roster, Andy Reid drafted Fletcher Cox, right? And then I'm trying to think who else played. But if you look at who's on the roster, who was on the roster then, you got Fletcher Cox, who still plays for Philadelphia now, who was on that roster when he left and they drafted him. Where's Brandon Graham? I know Brandon Graham as well too. You got Trent Cole, who wasn't who not a player, but was with them for that long as well too. But you got some players that played for them. Brent Selleck, was with them as well too. That's kind of a Philly faithful. LaShawn McCoy. I mean, the storylines out this are just out the wazoo. Look at the staff, right? Jeffrey Lurie, still the owner. General manager, Howie Roseman, right? I'm trying to think who's still there now. I think that's about it. It's crazy. Todd Bowles was on his coaching staff as well, on his coaching staff as well too. Um, Deuce Staley was quality control. Of course, he became the running back coach, and then he left to go with Denver. Doug Peterson was the quarterback coach. So when we look at Matt Nagy, quality control, David Culley, senior offensive assistant. I mean, his coaching tree is just it's insane. But when you look at it, the connection that Philadelphia has with Andy Reid is inseparable. He will always have that stamp and that foundation of his career associated with the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no doubt Andy Reid wants this one. And hey, look, I'm all for getting the best shot from the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm excited. I really think that the biggest thing here is no matter what happens, whether Philadelphia gets to win, Kansas City gets to win, there's going to be mutual respect, and I'm looking forward to this one.